What if everything you've heard about the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni controversy is about to change? For months, headlines, social media debates, and countless rumors have painted a dramatic picture of the growing tension between the two stars. But now, Justin Baldoni is finally breaking his silence, and what he's saying is sending shockwaves across Hollywood. Could this be the moment that completely reshapes the narrative? Did Baldoni reveal information that no one expected? And more importantly, does his response expose major cracks in Blake Lively's case? Behind the scenes, insiders, legal analysts, and fans are all asking the same question. Has the tide suddenly turned? New statements, unexpected developments, and growing scrutiny are fueling speculation that this story is far from over. What seemed like a straightforward situation may now be far more complicated than anyone imagined. In today's video, we're diving deep into Baldoni's powerful response, the key details making headlines, and why so many people believe these latest developments could have a major impact on how this entire controversy unfolds. We'll break down the facts, separate speculation from reality, and uncover what these new revelations could mean moving forward. Whether you're a longtime follower of this story or you're just hearing about it for the first time, you won't want to miss what comes next. The details are surprising. The stakes are high, and the conversation is only getting louder. Before we get started, make sure to hit that like button and show your support for more breaking entertainment news and in-depth celebrity coverage. Certainly, since you're requesting a reusable YouTube script, I'll provide it in a writing block. To avoid presenting unverified claims as facts about real people, the script frames developments as allegations, legal claims, and public reactions, rather than asserting that anyone's case has definitively collapsed. So, where do things stand now, and why is everyone suddenly talking about Justin Baldoni again? After months of headlines, speculation, online debates, and competing narratives, the conversation surrounding Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively appears to have entered an entirely new phase. What began as a dispute that captured attention across Hollywood has continued to evolve, and now many observers are focusing on Baldoni's latest response and what it could mean for the broader controversy. The reason this story has remained in the spotlight isn't simply because it involves two well-known public figures. It's because every new filing, statement, and public reaction seems to raise even more questions than answers. Each development has sparked fresh discussions among fans, commentators, entertainment reporters, and legal analysts who are trying to understand what comes next. What's especially interesting is how quickly public opinion can shift. In high-profile disputes, early narratives often dominate the conversation. Initial reports can create strong impressions that last for weeks or even months, but as more information becomes available, people naturally begin re-examining earlier assumptions. That's exactly what appears to be happening here. Justin Baldoni's decision to address the situation has generated intense interest because many people were waiting to hear his perspective directly. For a long time, much of the public discussion centered on allegations, responses from representatives, and widespread speculation across social media platforms. Whenever a key figure finally speaks or files a significant legal response, attention naturally increases. As details emerged, supporters on both sides immediately began interpreting developments in very different ways. Some viewed Baldoni's response as a major turning point. Others argued that it was simply another step in what could become a lengthy legal and public relations battle. The reality is that complex disputes rarely resolve overnight, especially when they involve multiple claims, counterclaims, and extensive media coverage. One reason this situation has attracted so much attention is because it reflects something audiences see repeatedly in modern celebrity culture. News spreads faster than ever before. A single headline can travel across the internet within minutes. Social media users react instantly, often before all relevant information is available. As a result, public narratives can become highly polarized very quickly. That's why every new development becomes such a major event. People aren't just reacting to facts, they're reacting to interpretations of those facts. They are trying to determine what each new statement means, how it affects previous claims, and whether it changes the overall picture. Many legal observers have pointed out that high-profile cases often look very different as they progress. Early allegations may receive widespread attention, but later filings can introduce new context, challenge previous assertions, or reveal additional information. This doesn't automatically prove or disprove anyone's position. However, it can significantly influence public perception. And public perception matters. In today's media environment, legal battles often unfold simultaneously in courtrooms and in the court of public opinion. Every statement becomes a headline. Every filing becomes a topic of discussion. Every interview becomes a source of debate. That means both the legal and reputational stakes can be extremely high. For Baldoni, speaking out appears to represent an effort to ensure his side of the story is heard. Whether people ultimately agree with his perspective is another question entirely, but there is no doubt that his response has become a focal point of the conversation. Meanwhile, Blake Lively remains one of Hollywood's most recognizable and influential figures. Her career, public image, and fan support have contributed to the enormous attention surrounding this dispute. Whenever a controversy involves individuals with significant public profiles, interest tends to remain elevated for extended periods. What makes the situation particularly compelling is the uncertainty surrounding what happens next. Many observers expected the story to fade over time. Instead, each new development seems to reignite discussion and generate fresh headlines. Some commentators have suggested that recent developments could strengthen one side's position. Others caution against drawing conclusions too early. Legal disputes are often far more complicated than they appear from the outside, and public reactions don't necessarily predict legal outcomes. That's an important distinction. Online conversations frequently focus on who appears to be winning a public relations battle. However, legal proceedings operate according to entirely different standards. Evidence, procedural requirements, legal arguments, and judicial decisions ultimately determine outcomes, not social media trends. Even so, public perception continues to play a major role in shaping how stories are discussed. That's why moments like this attract such intense attention. People want to know whether a new filing, statement, or response changes the trajectory of the controversy. Another factor driving interest is the sheer volume of commentary surrounding the dispute. Entertainment journalists, legal experts, influencers, and content creators have all weighed in with their own interpretations. Some view recent developments as highly significant. Others argue that it's too early to know what impact they will ultimately have. The differing opinions have created an environment where every update is analyzed from multiple angles. One group sees momentum shifting in one direction. Another group sees little change at all. As a result, the story remains active and unpredictable. What's undeniable is that the latest developments have renewed public curiosity. People who may have stopped following the controversy are suddenly paying attention again. Search activity has increased, discussions have intensified, and many are wondering whether future revelations could further reshape the narrative. At the center of all of this is a simple question: what information will emerge next? That's the question driving ongoing interest, not because anyone can predict the outcome with certainty, but because every new detail has the potential to influence how the story is understood. For now, both supporters and critics continue examining every available piece of information. They are comparing statements, analyzing responses, and debating what each new development means. In a controversy that has already produced countless headlines, the appetite for updates remains remarkably strong. And perhaps that's the biggest takeaway. This story is no longer just about one statement, one allegation, or one response. It's about an evolving narrative that continues to unfold in real time. Each development becomes part of a larger picture that audiences are trying to piece together. Whether future events ultimately favor one side, clarify unresolved questions, or introduce entirely new issues remains to be seen. What is clear is that the conversation is far from over. As more information becomes available, public interest is likely to remain high. New filings, statements, interviews, and legal developments could all influence how the situation is perceived moving forward. For viewers watching from the sidelines, the key is to separate verified information from speculation, and to recognize that complex disputes often take time to fully understand. Headlines may suggest dramatic turning points, but the complete picture usually emerges gradually. Until then, people across Hollywood, the media, and the public will continue watching closely, waiting to see what happens next in one of the most talked about celebrity controversies in recent memory. And if recent developments have shown anything, it's that this story still has the ability to surprise everyone.